Welcome back to Champion News Talk Radio, brought to you by championnews.net. This is Carol Parisi. Today, our founder, Jack Roeser, and myself have the privilege of having Tim and Steve. And we were talking during the break about something very compelling. Each of you have your own individual organizations, but you have done something amazing. You've developed a coalition and an alliance.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about that, because really this grassroots movement, when it comes together, it's a tsunami and it's more powerful than individual organizations. Let's hear about your successes and how you started coming together.
Well, we started out separately. We were fortunate to have the New Lenox. We threw a Tea Party New Lenox, which was a big event. There's 10,000 people that showed.
That was the Tea Party Express.
It was huge.
Yeah.
10,000 people.
Yeah, 10,000.
Where the heck did you gather them up?
Yeah, they have
county
an outside arena there, and we filled it up. It was shocking.
That was what, August of 2009?
Yes.
That was right around that healthcare,
Yes.
all of that.
Yes, it was huge.
People came from all over. I have my girlfriend from Lake in the Hills. Let's go do this. I said, Joliet, Lake in the Hills.
It was on Memorial Day.
Was it Memorial?
I've been to a lot of.
Great. It was great.
I've been to a lot of political gatherings.
Labor Day.
Labor Day, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I knew it was after the healthcare.
Yeah,
But so you had 10,000 people.
It was 10,000.
No,
They had helicopters in the air.
I understand when you have a political gathering, it's all politicians there, and that's been most of my experience in my political life.
Yeah, mine too.
There's usually 50, and they're all running for
It's the
something.
same guys.
There's
talking
no
to the
voters
same
there.
People.
But you guys,
No voters.
yeah. So you didn't get 10,000 politicians.
No, actually, and so what happened, that was the start of a pretty big mailing list.
Right.
Because people want to be informed. And so anyways, I get a call from this guy, and he says, we need to team up. I'm like, who is this guy? And everybody told me, be careful about this guy. He's kind of an activist, kind of works outside the box. It's Steve. So Steve calls me, and I want to tell this story because it's a funny story. He calls me, we have breakfast. I sit down, you mentioned earlier, Jack, about conservatism. I say to him, I'm a social conservative also, because there's a libertarian bend in the Tea Party as well. So I kind of define myself. So if we're going to work together, then he needs to know where my stands are.
Absolutely.
So Steve-O, God bless him, he goes, oh, hey, I don't know if I can work with you. He goes, I don't know. I don't work, I'm not comfortable with your type. And so we're going, I'm like, why wouldn't this guy be comfortable? Well, Steve thought I said socialist.
Oh.
It's a little funny party.
That's cute.
Yeah, a big difference.
Yeah, so we basically took our organizations, worked together, me from Joliet in and him from Homer Lockport out, and then we basically said that we're going to engage the whole county of Will.
Some time ago, I went to a meeting in what's the name of it? Homer
Glen.
Homer Glen.
That was my fundraiser.
Yes.
And you got to stay at the O for your speech.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah.
Well,
like TCON too.
There was a funny start to it. I said, fourscore years ago, I was born to my little Irish mother. And so I was just launching into a speech about how people should contribute to you. And there was some kind of a tinkling bell that went off. And I've got a little Irish pixie in me too, and I said, "Is that you, Mom?" And a nice laugh. But it's a great meeting.
Yeah.
I've been to a couple. There was that meeting. I went to another one before that. I think there were 800 to 1,000 people in a kind of wedding center.
Oh, that was our gubernatorial debate.
Gubernatorial.
Yeah.
And it was a
That
wedding.
was our first event we put on.
Big wedding building.
That was your first unity event.
That was the Nolfos.
And I sat on the steps, where the bride comes bouncing down. And I sat up there so I could watch everybody sitting in card table chairs. And for over 2 hours, these people sat there and listened, occasionally clapping. There wasn't any booing.
Right.
And people think that the press talks about the Tea Party people being rabble or disorganized or comparing them to these occupiers in a city park. There's such a difference. Here were intelligent people listening to speeches that were often rather dry. But they were gathering up who the heck was going to make some sense there.
Jack, you know,
impressive.
that was the when we had all the gubernatorial candidates on the Republican side.
Yeah.
You know which one wasn't there?
Yeah.
Andy McKenna.
Yeah.
And he was the establishment candidate.
And we invited Quinn, too.
And we invited everybody. He was the only one that didn't show, as well as all the Democratic candidates.
He was the
that didn't show.
county. He was the state chairman.
Yeah.
And he was running for governor.
Yep.
And he didn't show.
And the next day, the Republicans had their debate right after ours. We drew 1,100. They drew under 100 with Andy McKenna there. So it shows you that people, you don't have to work through the traditional means to get to where you need to go.
You know, people have wondered whether Tea Party was going to be third party, but it isn't, because actually Tea Party's full of a lot of mature, smart people, and they figured it out that the Republican platform is a damn good platform. It's got a lot of a lot of social stuff in it, and also the
We're the new
libertarian
home for
thing.
Democrats that don't like progressives like Barack Obama.
Right. Well, you know what? What about
And-
those Reagan Democrats?
Yeah.
Really, this movement is about the Reagan Democrats.
Your father's Democrat.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you'd
It's
be
kinda
shocked.
gone.
They're
gone. No.
really Republicans.
Yes.
But they just aren't.
They don't
as
wanna
far
call
as
themselves that.
when you say the platform Republican, the Tea Party has been their transitional stage,
Like an
Yeah.
entry level
Right.
kind of thing.
and then you
know,
can talk about things without an R&D.
Our Renaissance PAC, having trouble saying our own name, our Renaissance PAC has started an office in the city of Chicago. I say we started it, we didn't. Deb Gordell's did, and she's an upset person about what's going on in the city. And she took a lot of flack from people that thought they were running the party, but in the city. But she's attracted an amazing amount of attention, and our Renaissance PAC did pay the rent on a storefront. There's a lot of empty storefronts because of Obama's
all over the
great
place.
good business sense. And so she went in there, and she's caught an immense amount of attention. And in this election, there's going to be quite a few people running under the Republican label in the city of Chicago. When she started, nobody wanted to be labeled as a Republican. They're afraid of the avalanche of problems that comes out of the entrenched Democrats that have made such a mess of the state, and have been afraid to do anything. Well, Deb isn't. And boy, she's got steady eyes. She's not very tall, but she was a basketball champion in high school. And she is aggressive, and she's brought a lot of people together. It's amazing how many people want to run in the city of Chicago with a Republican label on them. She's brought attention from the national parties, and also a big Hispanic group has, I think, put something like $40,000 into their efforts.
Wow.
And I put a little bit in there so they can keep the phone manned in the place, but very, very little really. And there's a new liveliness. City of Chicago is turning over. The Republicans have ignored it for a long time. But Deb has got a whole bunch of people, and I think there's a lot of people in the city of Chicago that are sick of having to kiss the ears on these politicians who say, we don't want nobody sent. Right. That kind of politics is rotten, and it's brought Illinois to where it's at as a state that is most deeply in debt of any of them. So that's mostly the fault of the Democrats, along with the IEA Education Association.
You know what I'm finding? A lot of times people run for office. Now, where I live, everybody that runs for office says, we're going to go and we're going to fix the water problem because we have really high bills. My bill was $165 for 1 month last month for 2 people.
Oh, it's enough to drive you to
So
drinking gin.
Well, the people are mad, so all the candidates say, we're going to fix this. Well, they can't fix it. There's no possible way they can fix it. But everybody says that. Then they tell you they're going to give you this, and they're going to give you that. They didn't give you nothing. It all came from your money. And they all love to say that. And all they do is take your money and take a cut out of it, of course. And then they give it back to you after you got to beg for it.
Sounds like a mob.
You know, they're not even Sicilian. My God, they make it's sick. You know, but that's kind of what's going on. So when I go out and I tell people, I'm not going to give you your own money back.
Let's talk more about elections and consequences after the break.